What we're going to try and do is help you understand how do you take what you have done in the military and then translate that into the civilian talk, as if you will. And we've got some skills identification worksheet. We're going to work through that. And then we've got the barriers worksheet. And what that's really about is we all have things that have stopped us in the past. And we don't like to think about them, and we don't like to acknowledge them. And we have to acknowledge them in order to put a plan in place in order to get through that. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. And we all have them, so there's no reason to feel bad about that. Okay, so let's do a quick scan of what a job search looks like. We have, people think, and we're going to raffle some of these off, have put together the Get Real Guide to Your Career. It's a 100-page workbook. And this workbook works you through all the different areas you have to do in order to find work. We're obviously not going to go through them, but we're going to raffle a couple of those off today. We've broken it down into 5 categories, and they are taking inventory. So that place is, who am I today? We're going to look at skills, we're going to look at barriers, but you have to think about, who am I today? And in the Get Real Guide, it's got things around your achievements, skills, your values. Then we say creating you is module 2. Once I know who I am, how do I articulate it? How do I go upstairs and tell people what I need and what I'm looking for? 3, designing your target campaign. What's your process going to look like? Who am I going to contact? How many people am I going to be out there talking to? And then number 4, getting out there. How do I informational interview? How do I interview in general? And number 5, taking charge of your career. What happens to most of us once we get the job? What do? We work the job. And then what do we think about for the next job? Not. Done, not going to do it, you can't make me. As soon as you get your next job, you have to be thinking about what's next, and that's our module 5.
Skills. Everyone's been in the military, or you're the spouse of someone who's been in the military. If you're the spouse, you got a special set of skills putting up with your significant other. Make sure you put that on your resume. Every job, whether it be Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, Navy, Coast Guard, every job has a skill set. Not all of them transition directly over to the civilian sector. We're going to help you with that.
You mean like EOD?
Yeah, exactly. Or let's say a basic rifleman. How does a basic rifleman transition over? Believe it or not, it does. Okay? Anybody in here that was in the service had to handle a weapon. Okay? It takes timing, attention to detail, accuracy. You think these would work in the civilian job market? And that's just a rifleman. So imagine what some of the other duties that you did in the military would translate over to. Up here you see Military Skills Translation Guide. You see it's broken down into groups. Some of these groups cross-correlate. You can go from one to the other. We want to keep that in mind because that's called transitional skill sets. What you did in the military has transitional skill sets. Try saying that 3 times fast. There's many websites out there that are now available to assist you with finding your military job description if you don't know it or don't have a copy of it. Your skill sets that are in hard copy are on those papers. Those of you that are fortunate enough to still have a copy of your evaluation reports, for the Army it would be an NCOER or an OER. Okay? Navy, they have their 4.0 eval system. Air Force and Marine Corps have their respective systems, so does the Coast Guard. Grab those. Look at those. That's your cheat sheet. That is where you have your skill set in writing, and you have a reviewer and a senior reviewer or rater, people that have put their name down and put a comment down about your skill sets. Use those. You want to find these abilities, put them in these groups. Now this page and the following page work hand in hand together because you're going to identify yourself on both these pages. What's one thing that everybody in the military has to do? Work with someone else. On this page, third column, there's a key item right there. It doesn't matter if you're a leader or a follower, you have to be good at teamwork. You have to know how to lead that team. You have to know how to take instructions from that leader. You have to know how to work with your coworker. Counseling. It's not on the sheet, but it could fall under negotiating, because sometimes that's what it involves. Getting to know the person on the other side. Getting to know the individual you're speaking with. And it's not just for the person counseling the individual, but it's for the counselee being counseled, because they have to know the other person. Delegating. As an NCO, I had to delegate duties down to my platoon, my squad, my team, and make sure that they knew what they were doing, and then walk away from it. Basic leadership skill. If you were working in any section doing your particular job, could you do everything by yourself? Now, you see this list on the side. We're asking you to provide this information on your little postcards. Just as a sample, because we got a small room, I want to take a quick minute and find out just basic jobs. What did you do in the branch, in whatever branch you were in? Just tell me what you did. You're up front, so you get the bullet.
I have 3 jobs in the Army, sir. Combat engineer,
Okay.
signal, and logistics.
Okay. Signal Corps, which part of it?
Actually, well, a little bit.
RTO or maintenance?
No, maintenance and actual IT rooms.
Okay, so I'm going to take that for an example. Communications maintenance. He has to know his equipment, so he has to be proficient. Proficiency is a skill. You can take that proficiency in that radio maintenance and apply it to proficiency in another area, because it shows that you have the capacity to learn something as detailed as radio repair. Now, if you did that or not, I don't know. I'm just using it as an example.